at that move by Stanley.
Robbie Stanley tried very hard to make all that speed up in one car.
And then Stanley upside down.
Oh, my gosh.
Sliding upside down on the roll cage through turn 3. The red flag is out. Stanley, you can see the cage doing its job as the sparks fly off the car.
It does look like Rick Mears did exactly the same thing in that Indy car, but he got up over a wheel. The cage did its job, he wasn't touching. That was the metal that was touching the ground. That was what all the sparks were from. It was doing its job keeping him away from the racetrack, and that's what it was on there for.
That's the thing about open wheel competition. These guys have been running so close together lap after lap. We see them try to go 3 abreast over there in turn 2, and they just made a slight contact. He went to the wall, climbed the wall, and got upside down, took the long slide upside down.
Everybody was very anxious. Look at this. They're coming off there. They moved down. Stanley and Gordon both moved to the bottom. Stanley just moved up. He moved right up and ran into the car, the 25 car.
Tony Stewart ran over the nose of Tony Stewart.
Got upside down. The left rear hooked on the wall, and that's what left him up there. That left rear hooked over the wall, just kept the car sliding right down the wall. There was no rubber touching the ground. It was all metal. That's why it slid for so far. I think that's the farthest I've ever seen a car go upside down like that. Boy, I think...
You think every now and then he kind of opens his eyes to see where he is?
Well, I don't know. But look at that. He just moved up. Tony Stewart was clear up against the fence, had no place to go. Robbie just moved up a little bit further.
Robbie almost went over the wall.
He certainly did. He had a very good chance of getting clear out of this place, but that fence held him in. It hooked over that thing and just slid right along the wall, clear around three-quarters of the way around that.
Larry, I can remember when they first put a roll cage on a midget back in the late 60s, and guys said, hey, no, we don't need those things. They'll make the guys too brave. They finally became mandatory, and how many guys are walking around and racing today because they've got a roll cage?
Well, obviously, it's one of the biggest safety features, along with the helmets and uniforms and so forth, that we've ever put on a race car. It's one of the best things we've ever done, and it's certainly saved a lot of lives, including mine on several different occasions. And Robbie Stanley, I'm sure, is very thankful that that one on that car was built very, very well.
We're getting a good report from the infield that Robbie apparently is okay. He stayed in the cockpit as they gingerly rolled the car over.
Yeah, it was a very good sign, you know. When he was upside down, there was no arms hanging out. That was the first thing I looked for when I saw him. There he is. He's climbing out of the car all by himself. But when that car came to a stop, he's out of the car. He's looking around.
Well, he's talking to Brad Marble right there. Brad owns the car in the white hat, and he had a couple of comments with Brad. Walks away. He is okay.
Yeah, but when that car was stopped upside down, there was no arms hanging down. That meant he was conscious. He still had a hold of something, so that was a good sign right away.
Let's go back to Dave.
Our third meeting of the night is rather more dramatic than the other two, man. Are you okay?
I've been better, but I'm not hurt. One of them deals, man.
Well, first of all, tell me what that ride was like, sliding along on your top.
The sliding on my top, once I knew I was there, I was fine. It was going up that I didn't like, because I watched her go up, and I thought, man, if she starts turning over from here, if it digs in, I'm in trouble. And it didn't dig in. It slid. I mean, it slid a long way. But here we are. I mean, I'm fine. Car's hurt. I'm fine.
Does anybody at home record this for you? This is one you're going to want to see.
I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to see it.
You don't ever want to see this one again. From your viewpoint, how did it start? What triggered it?
I was in tight with Eric. I knew Eric was going to get underneath Howard, and so I wanted to get under Tony Stewart. I don't know what happened. All I know is I climbed his right front with my, I don't even know. We were side by side. I climbed over his wheel, and she went straight up, and I thought it might come down all four of us. Turned sideways in the air. That's when it turned over, and I don't even know which way it started, really.
We've got some more angles of it we're going to look at. You go get checked out, but you're okay.
I'm fine.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was some kind of ride. He is fine, and obviously won't be back tonight. He's going to go soak his bones, I believe. Let's go back topside.
Well, let's take a look again and see if we can take another angle from Jimmy Keeker's car right in front of Keeker. Now watch the contact. Right there it is. Climbs the left front of Tony Stewart. Goes to the wall. He's actually over on the left side before he makes contact with the wall.
See, he was almost, the cage actually kept him from getting out of the ballpark right then. That thing was rolling up on the thing, the wall. The cage caught him, brought him back in. The left rear hooked over the wall and kind of made him right around that wall. But this is tremendous. He just thought he had a little more room up there. I think he thought he was farther past poor old Tony Stewart than he was. He tried to move up on the racetrack. Right there, the cage caught him. The car started over. The cage caught him, brought him back down. The left rear hooks just slides along.
If you draw comparisons, Tom Sneva, Eldon Rasmussen at the Speedway about 1975. Same situation, making contact with the wheels and the car goes to the outside wall. Sliding upside down, all the sparks off the cage. Another look. Once again, the cage does its job. The safety harness, the helmet, and Robbie walks away. Little sore tomorrow, I'm sure, but he's okay.
Boy, I tell you, he's very, very fortunate that cage caught that wall and kept him inside the racetrack, because he would have been one hurting puppy if he'd have got out of here and started doing a lot of barrel rolls outside the racetrack, I'll tell you.
Well, he talked about needing all the points he possibly could muster through the heat races because of the battle with Eric Gordon. He's going to lose some points to Eric this evening.
It's a great credit to the manufacturers of the race cars, though. Look at that. That cage, as hard as they went up and down, as far as it slid, it looks perfectly intact. It doesn't look like it's bent, banged down, or anything else. It's a good tribute to the manufacturer. I think that's a J&J car, if I'm not mistaken. That's a very good race car.